Hey everybody, good Saturday morning to you. Recording this a little bit early this week. I am leaving for Hong Kong tomorrow, so I wanted to let you know that ahead of time. I'll be 12 hours or so, probably 15 hours, I think, from the East Coast, behind you all for the next week or so. I leave Sunday at 2 o'clock, which will be 5 o'clock your time. So I'll be out of pocket for 14 hours or so while I'm on an airplane. But please make sure you continue to contact me via email and any other methods. So I'll make sure I'm totally accessible. And the next recording you'll see from me will probably be from somewhere in Hong Kong. So it's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Seattle. Anytime I have an opportunity to sit outside and record in the middle of November or the start of November and it's not raining in Seattle, it's a darn good day. So hope you're having a good day as well. MSOM 602. This is the Lesson 3 recap and the Lesson 4 preview. This particular lesson started off in the discussion board with you having to make a selection of the top 5 servant leadership characteristics that you picked. Make sure that you read my comments in the discussion boards this week. I picked 5 for me. It doesn't make one right or the other one wrong. A lot of it will be based upon your own perspective and what you've seen and what your needs are, excuse me, in the company that you work with. But I was more interested in the rationale and why you picked the 5 that you picked. And so that's a important piece. The other thing I just wanted to talk about a little bit is this whole concept of servant leadership. I had a conversation with a fellow student this week just about the concept in general, and we batted around a lot of different pieces. Talking about, is this Pollyanna? I mean, is this something that can ever happen? And quite frankly, the whole concept to me of servant leadership, if you're in a leadership position, is about creating atmospheres. It's about creating an atmosphere where people can be their best. It's creating an atmosphere where they'll be able to thrive. So if you think about some of the characteristics in servant leadership, and we'll take the first one, for example, listening. How can you as a leader create an atmosphere where the people around feel like they're being heard? And part of that is you can't create an atmosphere of people around you feeling like they're being heard if you don't listen as the leader. And so that's one component. I got to tell you, there's some of these that I think I'm okay at, and there are some that I think I'm absolutely horrible at. I hate to say this, but empathy is not one of my strengths. And it's one of those areas that, for me, I think I listen. I think I have proper elements to succeed in that area. But when it comes to actually placing myself in the role of other people, that's just real difficult for me. It's not that I'm making excuses for that. It's just kind of a part of the way that I'm wired. I've got to continue to work on those things as well. One of the things that you had this week was a discussion on the triple bottom line, and that was from the Blanchard Barrett exercise. And as I mentioned kind of in the intro last week, you'll see triple bottom line listed a lot these days, but it comes under the heading of corporate social responsibility. And the whole premise there is really businesses are in business for more than just making money. And that's been sort of the challenge over the years. When I worked at ConAgra, the vision and mission of ConAgra was to increase shareholder wealth. And so you do that by selling more, by making more money, by increasing the stock price. And not a place was it mentioned anything about corporate social responsibility in those areas. But that's changing. And it's changing because the consumer is demanding it today. And so as you begin to think about servant leadership, think about it from the perspective, plane going overhead, think about it from that perspective. Think about how you can coordinate those 3 legs of a stool. Think of each element of the triple bottom line as a different leg on the stool. And the stool is not going to be as stable if you only have 1 or 2 of those versus all 3 legs in the stool. So that was something I'd like for you to take forward with you and hopefully apply as well. And then the final one was the DMV exercise. Remember what I said earlier, just a couple minutes ago, on creating atmospheres. This is one where that DMV director in that story created an atmosphere where not only the employees but all other stakeholders could thrive and succeed. And so remember that as a manager and a leader, servant leadership isn't necessarily you exhibiting that every day one-on-one with an employee. It's really about you as a leader creating an atmosphere where everyone can experience those things. So that's lesson 3. Lesson 4 is a little bit briefer, mainly because you're going to be working a lot on your course project on this one. But the discussion board I really like a lot. It normally provides a lot of hearty conversation. And the question is leadership caught or taught? Um, Interesting comment. You know, is this something that you're born with, or is it something that you can learn over time? And make sure you look at the video on that. There are a couple of things that I have, and you'll re-look at kind of a Warren Bennis video. Also do web searches on this. And this is one that I would encourage you. You don't necessarily have to have peer-reviewed on this one because there's some great ideas out there. If you just do a web search on leadership caught or taught, you're going to get a ton of stuff out there that are opinion-based. And so this one is one that I don't mind you using just opinion on. The second thing this week is the second memo exercise. Remember, the first one described what servant leadership is. This one's going to describe why are we moving to servant leadership. And so this will focus a lot on why as an organization we're moving, what's it going to be like, what will be some of the differences that are out there. So focus your memo exercise on why this week. And then finally, the course project. This week is due for part 2. This is where you'll have the narrative out there that talks about all the elements and the components that you had in your outline that you also see in the bullet points that are there. You'll talk about the first 3 servant leadership characteristics. I did put something out there, I think either an email or announcement this week, because there was something that didn't translate whenever we rebaked this course. So you'll do the first 3 in part 2. You'll do the next 7 in part 3. So just make sure that you focus and format your paper accordingly. Well, I want you all to have a great week. Again, I'll kind of be out of pocket on Sunday after 5 o'clock for the next 12 hours or so. I think I get into Hong Kong at 10 o'clock in the evening. So just understand I'll probably be, for most of you, 15 hours earlier, no, later. I'll just send me an email if you need me. All right? Hope you have a great week.